Thumbelina. Once there was a woman who wanted a child. She went to see a witch. The witch gave her a barley corn. It was a very special barley corn. The woman took the barley corn home and planted it. It grew into a flower like a tulip. The petals were tightly closed. The woman kissed the petals. They opened. Inside the flower was a tiny girl, no bigger than the woman's thumb. The woman called the child Thumbelina. Thumbelina slept in a cradle made from a walnut shell. The covers were made from flower petals. Thumbelina played in a boat made from a tulip petal. One day, an ugly toad hopped through the window. The toad wanted Thumbelina as a wife for her son. The toad carried the cradle away. Thumbelina was asleep inside it. The toad put the cradle on a lily leaf. She went to get her room ready under the mud. When Thumbelina awoke, she was afraid. Soon the toad came back. She took the cradle to the room. She left Thumbelina sitting on the lily leaf. The fish did not like to see Thumbelina cry. They nibbled through the lily stem. The leaf floated down the river. Thumbelina went with it. A butterfly pulled the leaf some of the way. A big beetle picked Thumbelina up. It took her to a tree. The other beetles thought Thumbelina was ugly. "Let her go," they said. The beetle put Thumbelina down on a daisy. Thumbelina stayed in the wood. She lived by herself, but she was never lonely. The birds were her friends. Her clothes were tattered and torn, but she was never cold. She was happy all day long. Then winter came. The wind was very cold. Thumbelina tried to keep warm. Snow began to fall. Thumbelina wrapped herself in a leaf. If she did not find somewhere warm to stay, she would die. Thumbelina went into a field where the corn had been cut. She knocked at a door. A field mouse opened it and asked her in. "You can stay with me as long as you like," said the field mouse. The mole came on a visit. He said he would like to marry Thumbelina. Thumbelina and the field mouse went to see the mole's house. The mole led them along a dark tunnel. On the way they passed a swallow. It was lying very still. "It's dead," said the mole. He pushed the swallow with his foot. Thumbelina could not forget the swallow. She waited until the others were asleep. Then she went back to the tunnel. She lay her head on the swallow's chest. Its heart was beating. It was not dead. It had fainted because it was so cold. Thumbelina covered it up to make it as warm as she could. Thumbelina went back to the swallow the next night. It had opened its eyes. Thumbelina looked after the swallow all winter long. It grew well and strong. Spring came. Thumbelina made a hole in the roof of the tunnel. Now the swallow could fly away. "Sit on my back and I will take you with me," said the swallow. "I cannot," said Thumbelina. "I am to marry the mole." She watched sadly as the swallow flew away. The wedding day drew near. Thumbelina sat all day at the spinning wheel, spinning thread for her wedding dress. Thumbelina was unhappy. She did not like the mole. She did not want to marry him. She did not want to live underground for the rest of her life. It was Thumbelina's wedding day. The mole said she could take one last look at the sun. Thumbelina looked up at the sky for the last time. She heard someone call. It was the swallow. "Come, fly with me," said the swallow. This time, Thumbelina did. The swallow took Thumbelina to the place where the swallows make their nests. Near the nests were some white flowers. Living inside the flowers were tiny people like herself. Thumbelina married the king of the tiny people. She wore a golden crown. She was given a pair of wings as a wedding present. Thumbelina changed her name to Maya and lived happily ever after. The